Another Siri update. So I decided this morning to bring the lead rope in while I was having her eat out of the bucket that I was holding. And I got the halter over her, and I got the lead rope over her. We're still working with halter, but I can see through her breathing and her releasing, just kind of giving her time to process this. Now she's looking at me, which is fabulous because she rarely does. Just giving her time to process that just because I need to put a halter on her, just because I need to work on her feet, doesn't mean she loses her freedom. I get that it's another step, and it's still every step of the way I would figure, would be so rewarding. And actually it isn't. It's actually heartbreaking because I see, parts of her that she feels that she has to let go of. And I guess as we grow up, I don't think we really realize the domestication taking place within us, because obviously it happens at a very unconscious age, and it happens little by little, and we don't have much control over it. But working with this wild mare, who is not an easy wild mare, and learning how to go through this with her step by step, where not just that I'm aware of the steps that I'm taking to help her, but being really, really aware of the steps in her own psyche and her own being, that are taking place in the essence of her own being, not just because I was successful, but letting her process what she has to. So hopefully I can do this in a way that's not dumbing down or taking away her abilities to say yes and to say no. And quite honestly, I'm not planning on riding her at all. So there's no expectation of being ridden. There's just deep connection. It just draws me back to what happens to us as infants, where, literally we're at everybody's mercy, right? Like, we hope that the people around us are conscious of what they're doing and how they're behaving and what they're indoctrinating us to, how they're domesticating us. And as I'm standing here with this wild mare and recognizing, I know I'm a part in her path. On some level, who knows? Maybe she chose this, maybe she didn't. I don't know if I'm subscribing anymore to the whole, you chose all of this before you came here thing. I don't know. I have to say, I believed that for a long time. I don't know if I believe that or how much I believe that anymore. Do I think it was her choice to get pulled off the range? Not really. Not really. I'll ask her, actually. Siri, was it your choice to get pulled off the range? Okay, we've got a transmission here coming through from Siri. It was not my choice to get pulled off the range. She said, I know we had a destiny to share together, but I did not know that that's the way that it would come. I did great on the range. I was with my family. I knew how to live that life. I loved that life dearly. And then people came along that decided they knew better than I did. They knew better than my family did. And everything was chaos. Everything was going in all different directions. And everything that we know as a herd was thrown into complete chaos and mayhem. She said everybody was going everywhere in all different directions. And the reality that I knew and the stability that I derived from my herd and from my parents and from my siblings and my aunties and my uncles. She said all of that changed in an instant, and nobody could find their center. And she's standing here right next to me now, licking and chewing as this transmission is coming through. She said most people want to believe what they want to believe about things. The people on the range that are stealing horses out of the wild want to believe they're doing this for the good of the horses. She said, but that's a lie. That's an economic incentive. And the people that are wanting to save the horses believe what they want to believe, that the horses should be on the range. She said, but no one ever actually asks the horses. And she said, what I believe is that we came here to live a life that would allow me to experience wildness and domestication. And I came here to teach you, Allecia, about what happens through that process of being wild, remembering your own wild, and then the domestication process, and how we can do this as consciously through loving intention as possible, with no agenda of being ridden or me, Siri, having to be put in slavery to you, Allecia, for things that you want to accomplish. She said, I know that this has been equally hard for both of us because we're each working through our own issues as we move through this process. But she said, this process is a remembering for both of us. It's a remembering of the communion that humans and animals have always had through all time until that started to get changed within the last, how many years? 250 years, she said. She said, and I also came to help you see the process of domestication that you went through as a human being, and how you are able to rewild yourself even in a world that wants to make you a domesticated slave as well. Okay. So more than just the awareness of getting a lead rope around Siri is this much deeper awareness and understanding in terms of consciousness that animals know and understand, that as humans, through any training, I don't care if this is Allecia now speaking, whether it's horses or dogs or cats, there is a process that has been taking place that humans have become very, very unconscious about. It's become about money. It's become about greed. It's become about human pleasure, satisfaction, entertainment. And we have forgotten. We have forgotten our own essence, and we have also forgotten the deep truth and wisdom that lies in the essence of these undomesticated and wild beings who are very often here to show us and to help remind us of our own wild. And if we just land up domesticating them without taking the lessons from them that they are actually here to provide us, I don't think we're understanding the full picture of horse, and I don't think we're understanding the full picture actually of who we are as beings of spirit that are connected and in communion with all life. And I think that we've lost our way in understanding that they're not just here for us to steal them from the wild and then to tame them. They're here to help us remember that through the Creator's plan, not just man's plan, we came here to remember and co-create heaven on Mother Earth. And that does not involve stealing them from the wild. That does not involve making them slaves. It involves allowing us to let them be our teachers.